pull that bad boy forward.
Got it.
We're going down. Here we go. Pull it. Give it a pull. There it is.
All right, sweet.
All right, cool.
Good?
Yeah, man. So share who you are. We set you up for failure. That was on me right there.
No, yeah. So like you said, like from this area, from Crown Point, born and raised here. My family's from Serbian and Macedonian descent, so there's a lot of people within this area that from the same background and culture and everything. But
dude, I gotta stop there.
Yeah.
It's like I'm from here too.
Yeah.
Why are there so many Eastern Europeans here?
Yeah. So so it all comes back. So everybody moved over. Okay. When everybody immigrated over, you don't speak the language. You don't do a lot of you don't understand a lot of different things. So you work in blue collar jobs. So
yep.
You work in steel or factory jobs or whatever it may be. So obviously we have a big steel industry in Gary. So like both sets of my grandparents, when they immigrated over, both worked in the steel mills in Gary. But it's you see pockets of people in like Milwaukee, Chicago, our area,
around industry,
Pittsburgh, Cleveland,
gotcha.
like all those blue collar cities.
Makes sense.
That's where you see a lot
of.
Yeah,
and then if families overseas and they hear of someone who's in that area and they got a job there,
100%.
Hey, I'll go there. Okay, got it.
I vouch for you. Come over here. This
Makes
is good
sense.
work. Whatever.
Because dude, it's crazy. Like my wife worked in ESL, which is English as a second language at Winfield for a few years, and and so her first language is Spanish,
mm-hmm.
and throughout the process, I thought like we're gonna have a lot more Hispanic, and there was, but it was mostly kids Serbian, Macedonian, Greek. It was all, and I knew that growing up throughout high school. It was like, they're chilling with the Macedonians, they're chilling with the Serbian. Like there was the crews because families are so tight and the culture is so tight. I love it, man.
Yeah, Crown Point, like Lake Central, Valpo, Maryville. Like I said, my parents grew up in Gary, and then both went to Maryville High School, so it's just everybody here's got a little something to them.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I cut you off.
But go ahead. But like I said, with that, family from there, and then came over here and worked those jobs. Been playing basketball ever since I was little. My dad played professional basketball. My brother, obviously, you play with my older brother.
Yep.
But yeah, just always been around here, been a basketball family and everything. Yep. So. Yeah, that's it.
So how old were you when you started playing?
Shoot, man. Organized basketball, I was first grade. I played up 2 grades, and I played at the 3rd grade.
Oh, okay.
So cool. I was like with, 2 ages above me, which is a little overwhelming at that time. But I always played 1 grade up. Yeah. So first grade was, I think, the first time I played organized basketball.
It was funny, man, because like I had the same experience growing up. My brother, believe it or not, I was a lot better at basketball before I got in high school. So like that was my whole life. But I played up because my brother was 3 years older. So it was just like easier for my mom and dad to be like, okay, go with him. Yeah, and then I'd be there and they're like, oh, he could play with us. Yeah. I was smaller, but like so then it forced me to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the same thing with my like you said, like my older brother, we talk about it all the time, but like I would never be in the position that I'm in basketball-wise, like the basketball player I am today, or developing as like a high school kid in a college or whatever, without my older brother. Yeah. Like we had battles in like the driveway. Like we would play, one-on-one or shooting or whatever.
Well, and your brother's good.
Yeah, he was a great player. Like he played varsity as a freshman, like started as a sophomore. He just had a lot of injuries in high school that kind of messed him up. But like he was so good, and he was big at that time, like big, strong, like point guard. So he pushed me, man. Like we got in a fight every day. Like
I missed Dano, dude.
It was amazing. Like it was really good for my development.
Yeah.
And it's like when you have somebody like that could be able to push you and make you just tougher. Like that was a big thing. Like, growing up, like you have things a little easier if you're a better player, if you're more talented or skilled. Like it's easy sometimes when you're playing against kids your age. I'm playing somebody that's bigger, stronger, 5 years older than me. Yeah. And he was bullying me around. I didn't beat him until probably I was sometime in high school. Yeah. Like, so it really helped me just grow and just become that, like, tougher mindset.
Yeah, yeah, and it's awesome because, like, I mean, yeah, your brother was the guy in that grade, in that class. And then, like you said, some injuries, stuff like that. Yeah. I loved playing with your brother, man. It was awesome. And him and I always had a really good relationship. Yeah. Now I just get, like, a random Instagram DM from him about, like, something stupid or golfing or something. But man, not only that, he's hilarious. Yeah. Like he's like sneaky funny.
Yeah. No, he's legitimate my best friend. That's awesome. We do a lot of things together, and whenever he's home or he comes to all my games, came to all my games at Purdue, which is that's important. It's an important thing for us. We our lives are around basketball, but it's just not that, you know. And we really do everything we can to support each other, and just like I said, he's my best friend. So
and so it's funny because, like, you know, we had Zach Plezak in here the other day. We were talking about that, but similarly, like, he had a twin brother that they just battled, right? But it's also similarly like your dad played ball, right? His family similarly, so you kind of grow up around the culture, and it's like this is just what you do, but it allows you. So like, you touched on your brother a little bit. What about your pops, your dad? Amazing guy, I'm sure. I never really have talked to you necessarily or your brother about like his role in your growth in the game. But like early on, like, touch on your dad and like how that relationship was. Your dad, was he tough on you, or was he like, you know, did he kind of let you do your thing and then would be more of like a quiet leader? What was that relationship like?
My dad is the opposite of what you like would think of like an AAU dad, like screaming and yelling. Like, he is the complete opposite. And my dad knows more basketball than anybody like you could talk to, you know. Like, he's just been around the game forever and played professionally overseas, played college basketball at Illinois State, was a great player, and he never, I don't even know how to put it, he never pushed me to like be, he never would like yell at me, he never would discourage me, never, like, if I played bad, especially when I got to college. High school, it started to be a little bit different because he wanted, like, I wanted to get to Purdue. Like, that was where I wanted to go. And
you had expressed that goal to him.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I want to go.
My freshman year, I wrote down a goal. I said I want to play in the Big Ten Conference. And my freshman year, I was like, I was like, that's a far goal. Like, you know, like, it's far-fetched. But it ended up working out. And so he kind of, at that time, like, we both felt the pressure of it, kind of. Like, I want to get there. Like, I have to do more. I have to keep doing.
And he knew what it takes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, he played at Illinois State University. Like, that's a high mid-major tough school, and he knew what it took to be good there, and you have to do another step to be a good player in the Big Ten. And but like, he's been so great, and like, now looking back as a young, like, younger kid growing up, never yelled at me, never told me what I was, you tell your kid what you're doing wrong, but in a positive way. He was always positive, which was great. You know, if I played bad, nobody's harder on myself than I am. And he would always just give me words of encouragement. Hey, you could be doing this better, but you did really well. But you shot the ball well here. You played good defense. You did something else. And it was awesome to have that. He has, like I said, he has so much knowledge, and to pass it on to me in that positive way it's been huge for myself. Yeah,
he's got that like subtle, quiet, intimidating.
If you see my dad, you understand that. Like, looking at him, you're like, ooh, I'm kind of intimidated by him. Like, he's a little scary, but he's the complete opposite. Like, he's like, if he wants to talk to people all the time. Like, he's that type of person, but he's got that intimidating factor.
Well, yeah, and I remember at games too, he just kind of just quiet, just watching.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'd see him and I'd be like, how you doing, Mr. Stefanovic?
Yeah.
Good.
Doing well.
And I'm like, I don't want to disappoint that guy. Like, 100%. I don't know, man. It was like,
if you see, especially when I got to Purdue, he just sitting there like this the whole time. Give a couple claps, nothing crazy. My mom's next to him going nuts, and my dad just sitting there, cool, calm, and collected.
But well, and you do have a great support system, man. Like, you look at your brother, you look at your parents. Mom was heavily involved. In our years too. Your mom was always running meal nights, games before, like, absolutely. Everything, man. The parents all set up. Like, she was awesome. Yeah,
very. She's the most selfless person you could possibly find. Like, everything that she does is for everybody else. And, moving forward, like, I'm doing my shooting camp here at Crown Point High School next week, and like, everything, all the random things around the camp, like, she's taken care of, which is awesome. Unbelievable. So she's my literally biggest fan. So it's been great.
So let's talk about early on in your career, kind of. Like you're saying, first grade, you started playing organized basketball. When was it that you started to see, like, that you were going to be pretty damn good? Like, when was it that you were like, I think I can take this? Or, what age did you start dreaming about these goals, like where you're at now?
Growing up, you're always, I want to play in the NBA, 100%. I want to do everything. But when I started to be, like, realize maybe I could get to college and play basketball there was my freshman year of high school. Before that, like, if you know me, like, middle school, younger, like, I was a little pudgy, like, just chucking up shots and everything. Like, I didn't have, like, I wasn't always like the best athlete, best whatever, so I was always like, I'm just kind of middle of the pack, like, I'm, just another player. And then when I got to my freshman year of high school, I grew a little bit. Like I still wasn't that tall or anything, but I just kind of like got in a groove in practices and in summer. And that summer I think was a really like big development year for myself, like getting more comfortable with like a speed of the game, playing with varsity players. And then I played JV and varsity that year, and then I got bumped up to full varsity the middle of the year, and it just gave me like a lot of confidence that I could play at this level. And then moving forward from there, like I said, I just wrote down goals that seemed far-fetched at the time, but that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to play at the Big Ten conference level, and that was kind of like the year where I was like getting recruited by schools and everything, and I was like, this maybe could work.
So then, so are you saying like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade? Were you the best guy on? Were you at Taft?
I was at Wheeler.
Were you the best guy on that team?
Probably not, I wouldn't say.
Seriously?
Yeah, like I mean, I was a good player. Like I started, and everything. I was good, but and myself, like looking back at the time, I'm probably like, oh, I'm probably the best player, blah blah. But like looking back, I was just
maybe top 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
guys.
like I just shot threes. Like I was really big, like out of shape.
Yeah.
I didn't hit any growth spurt yet, and
man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy because for like me, I was the opposite. Like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I was like, okay, I'm the guy on the team. And then I got to high school and I lost all of that rhythm. Like it was weird, man. That's super. You know
what's
cool,
interesting
man.
though? I always think about like I talk about it with my dad all the time. But like whenever you enter an organization from the start, you're bottom of the totem pole always. So like when I entered my freshman year of high school, like I'm like, okay, you're the worst guy. I was like, figure it out kind of thing. So you have to like chip away, and then it just gives you more confidence, and that's what like I did my summer, and it really helped me.
That's great, man. Yeah, because I went into it with the different mindset. Like, yes, I might be younger than these guys, but I am better than these guys. And then when like small losses started to hit, I let other people's opinion of me take my own view. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm not as good as I thought that I was, and so that was then my belief in myself.
And that's a lot of people like it happens to a lot of young kids like that, like young athletes. But it helped me. I think I was really good at like being oblivious to everybody else and what they thought of me. Like if people didn't like me, if people didn't think I was good enough or whatever, honestly, I had no clue.
That's awesome.
Which was good. Like, because back in the day,
amazing.
I didn't.
Especially at that age.
Yeah.
At that age, going into high school, that's awesome, man. It's a really cool point that you just made, because going into high school, everything you're saying that you were legitimately, I have the opposite viewpoint. When I went to high school, I was so concerned what everyone thought about me. Youngest kid there. My whole life and identity was basketball for the most part, and baseball too, but like then it was like those things weren't going as well, so then I was so concerned with what everyone thought, and you were the opposite. You're like, I'm the bottom, I have to get better, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. It
really was.
That's
like
dope.
I wasn't concerned about being like cool or anything in high school with that. It was
a problem.
I was like, I go to basketball every day and I go to school, and I was like, I don't, everything else whatever.
Why do you think that is? Like how? Because dude, it's such a big that is such a big period of time where kids are just like so confused and like concerned with what other people think, right? Yeah. So why do you think your mindset was the opposite?
I think also like I think it had to do with me like middle school wise, like I said, like I was never I don't know, it's like insecurity things or just I've always had problems with confidence. Like I'm a even like now like I talk about it like sometimes you get like an imposter syndrome where you don't feel like you belong or you don't feel like you're good enough to be at the place that you're at. But you've earned your place. Like you're there for a reason. And that's what I remind myself a lot nowadays when I'm trying to become a professional basketball player. It's like people think you're good enough to be there, so you're there for a reason. Right. But at that time in high school, I just thought a lot of people were better than me, like in a lot of different areas. So I'm like, if I think all these older kids are better than me, like I got to do something to prove that I'm better. Like I have to do more. I have to work harder than them. I have to, whatever it may be. And then in terms of being like, in just school and, with friends and everything, like I was never, it's just my personality. I'm like I was never concerned about being the guy, like, cool or like, oh, he has so many friends or like, it just, a lot of people are like that. And it was never my personality. So I was cool with just being on the laid back a little bit, but I'm going to do my business. I'm going to get stuff done wherever I need to get done.
That's awesome. So then freshman year, towards the end of the year, you were playing varsity, full varsity?
Yeah, at the end of the year, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the time where you're like, okay, I'm feeling confidence, getting in a rhythm. By your sophomore year, what happened with freshman year? Like, how did it finish out? And early in sectionals? Or
Yep, we lost first round of sectionals.
First round sectionals. Yeah. Okay, so then next year,
Mm-hmm.
at that point, like next couple years throughout, because I mean, I obviously remember, your junior and senior year.
Yeah.
Was it your senior year against Valpo with that or that was junior?
That was my junior year.
That was junior year. That was
Yeah.
one of the coolest shots I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the greatest plays. We gotta link that up, Noah. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah.
There's if you put it on YouTube, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's up there somewhere.
One of the sickest shots that I've ever seen, and it was. Bro, I was at the game. It was gnarly. But talk about sophomore, junior year, like kind of what that was like for you and your growth.
Yeah, like we had such a great team. Going forward, like sophomore, junior year, the class above me was so super talented. Obviously, Grant Galen, he went to
Grant,
Blake,
Blake and
John Sacaleros, Tommy Sanborn. Like,
that was a fun team, man.
Yeah, great team. We had a lot of talent and a lot of
not a lot of egos. Sorry,
no,
to cut
exactly,
you off.
no,
I feel
exactly.
Like not a lot of
that's
ego.
how we were, and that's why we were so successful. Is because one guy could get 30 a night, and then the next guy could get 30, and it was no problem.
So cool.
So yeah, we had a great team. We had a lot of players that went on to play college basketball, and that sophomore and junior year, Coach Swan, credit to him, like he upped our schedule. We played a lot of teams down in Indy, a lot of tougher competition, and it really challenged us. And moving from there.
You found it? How crazy is that?
Yeah, that was junior sectional championship, but
that was Well, for context, that was down 3, put it in overtime, right?
Yeah, because Steve Helm, who's a great player at Valpo, hit a floater and one, went up by 3, and then we were in the huddle, and Coach Swan's just like, all right, we're just gonna get it, just get a shot up, and just try to hope it goes in.
You are far out.
Yeah, it was tough.
Deep.
It was funny that shot too. Like one of my best friends, Thane Bukowski, was sitting. Thane's funny, dude. Thane was sitting courtside right there.
Yeah.
And I hit the shot, and I didn't know what to do. I was just turning and yelling. And I look, like, if you look on the thing, Thane is just like in the court, like on the middle of the court, like trying to dap me up. I'm like, but it's so funny. But
that was an awesome moment. Man.
Yeah.
That was huge.
It was so cool too, because like my freshman year and like, the years before, like we didn't have anybody that went to games. Like if you watched our games, like
things got quiet for a few years.
It was
man.
like it was.
Yeah.
Games were half full, not really. Lower bowl. They wouldn't even put up the upper section, and then that sophomore, junior year, especially that junior year, like that shot, it was standing room only in our gym.
Sick.
Sold out.
That felt like I compare it back to. I don't know if you ever made it to the games when Stephen Albrecht played.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when Stephen Albrecht, it was funny too because it was Crown Point Valpo, naturally as it should, right?
Mm-hmm.
Red and green, and in our stadium, you'd see like that was when it was standing room only. When it was Scott Martin, Robbie Hummel, and Valpo, and Stephen Albrecht and those guys.
Yeah.
All that reminded me. I was like, this feels like that again because it was crazy. It was amazing.
Growing up, especially like seeing like Etuan Moore is like my guy.
Yeah.
Like he's my he's the 55. Like that's like a big inspiration why I wear that and Purdue and like seeing him and Rob have success here and then go at Purdue and have the same success, be all Americans. That was what I wanted to be. And seeing those two guys in high school have that feel in gyms where it was sold out and standing room only, I was like, man, if I could get to that point one time, that's that'd be really cool. And like we did, which was really awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
That game was sick.
Yeah.
So then by the time you guys win sectionals, sophomore, junior, and senior.
Senior year we did not. We lost in the final. Yeah, we lost to Maryville.
Dang, I don't remember that. Okay,
and they made it to semi-state. So hopefully, if we would have won, I think we would have went far. But ended up getting upset by them.
So then when was it that you started having conversations with Purdue and different colleges?
Yeah.
And were you getting hit up by multiple colleges? Like what was that recruiting time like?
Yeah, so I started getting my first ever offer was by Columbia University, Ivy League up in New York, and I got that going into my junior basketball season. And from there, I just got a couple more. I think I got Evansville, and then just kind of like a lot of mid-major schools. And then going into my senior year, so that spring session of AAU was huge for myself. I got a lot of buzz around it, and that spring session, I played really well. Mm-hmm. I remember there was a tournament in Dallas, and on my team I had Romeo Langford, who was number 2 in the country at that time, and he was a grade below me, but he was playing up with us, and so everybody was always watching him. We would have 100 to 200 coaches at every game just to watch him. Everybody wanted him.
Where's he from?
Down by Louisville, like New Albany.
Yeah.
I think he's number 2 all-time scorer in Indiana history.
Nice.
Like, just unbelievable high school player. He's on the Spurs right now, actually.
You guys are in the
small
same
world.
organization?
Yeah, small world, yeah.
That's crazy.
But that spring session, I had a great tournament. I got offered by Xavier right after that.
Nice.
And that was my first, like, big offer.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
a legit offer.
Yeah, and then from there, right after that offer, I got probably 8 more that day. From just, like, mid-majors and, you know.
So do they, like, know? Do they
just
know
like,
someone?
It just,
and
yeah, it just like takes one.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
okay.
that's what I always tell like people. Like, it just takes one team, like one bigger team especially, to get you an offer, and then everybody's like, well, "Who's this kid? Like, why did they offer him?" And then they start looking at you more. Yeah. So then from there, Purdue. The first contact I had with Purdue was probably that June going into my senior year. I took an unofficial visit. I mean, Dan went there to school, so my brother, you know, and he. I've been to the campus like dozens of times. We used to go to football games and basketball games when I was younger. So like I knew the campus. It was just more introducing myself with the coaches and everything. But went on a visit there. And then I got hurt right after that. I sprained my ankle real bad. So I didn't play in the July session of AAU. So a lot of the offers that I was going to have from like Big Ten schools, like I was getting recruited by Michigan, Wisconsin, Northwestern, a lot of these schools, they all kind of just stopped recruiting me because they took other guys because they didn't see me more. So I was kind of, you know, it's very discouraging because I was like, man, I was building momentum with a lot of these teams. I wanted to go to a lot of different places. Like I was interested in a lot of these Big Ten schools that I said I wanted to do since I was a freshman. And then it just kind of got taken away from me. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I had a lot of great mid-majors. I ended up with probably 23 offers total.
Man, that's awesome.
And then Paint just kind of kept recruiting me throughout that fall. And it was such a unique situation because they didn't have a scholarship to give. So he's like, I'm recruiting you without a scholarship. He's like, I want you to play for my team, but I can't have you on my team. He's like, I'm not telling you yes, I'm not telling you no. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. So he was banking on the fact that Caleb Swanigan was going to go to the NBA that year or the following year. So he goes, if you want to wait for a scholarship, you're going to have to wait till the end of the year until what he decides. So it was like a weird position. I wanted to commit in the fall of my senior year, get it over with so I didn't have to worry about it during the season and, you know, weight off my shoulders. And I did the complete opposite where I told all those teams that recruited me and all those teams that wanted me, I was like, listen, Purdue's kind of interested. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if I could get one in the spring with them. I was like, if you guys want to still recruit me in the spring, like I would love it. But if not, I get it because I don't want to waste your time. At the same time, if you could go get somebody else. Yeah. And it ended up working out. He made a personnel change like in February. I think it was like February 2nd. Called me that night. And then I took the offer that next day.
Man, that's awesome.
It was super crazy.
So it was a scholarship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, full ride. It was a weird thing. Like I was like, I'll go and walk on. I was like, I don't even care. I was like, I'll cash in all my other like full ride offers, and I was like, I'll just go walk on if you really want me to. I was like, I'll try to earn a scholarship after, but he's like, no, just wait, and then it ended up working out.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, what a cool story, dude.
Yeah.
So then, what about your time at Purdue? Because as far as like details on that, like you know, I followed loosely. It was also a very busy time in my personal life, so like I don't have a bunch of context on it. I didn't prep enough. Yeah. Just talking about your career at Purdue, man. How was it building up, and then getting to this point? We'll touch on that.
Yeah, like I said, like you entering that team, I was very low on the totem pole. Like I was very, I barely got that offer. Like I said, like I wasn't a highly recruited guy. Like I was a 2-star, 3-star guy when you have 4-star, 5-star guys. So coming in, same thing. You just got to work. I just worked like real hard to just try to earn any type of respect that I could get from coaches, players, and I ended up redshirting my freshman year, which was great. Like any young kids that are going into college as an athlete that have the chance and ability to redshirt, I think you 100% need to do that. Like I think it's one of those things that it just gives you so much more advantage when you're older.
Because you're given a full year of experience, basically?
Full year of experience. You get to, like, college is, it's hard. Like, even for a normal student, like, it's a whirlwind of, like, just a lot of stuff happening socially, academically. Yeah. And then you throw in hard athletics, like tough competition, whatever, practice every day, weights, conditioning. It's a lot to handle at once. So honestly, just getting acclimated to college life is even important. But it helps you get ready for the speed of the game. Your body's not ready to play college basketball as a freshman unless you're a 5-star freak guy, you know. So just, you know, getting in the weight room, getting more practice. Honestly, learning a system is really important. Like I felt like I didn't understand our offensive system, defensive system till like a year in, you know, where I felt super comfortable. I could do everybody's job on the floor after that time. So it was great to just learn from a lot of different people. Like Dakota Mathias and Ryan Klein were on the team, older guys that were such big like role models for my game and how they worked every single day to be unathletic guys, but how did they have success at the same time, you know?
Gotcha.
So it was just great. I think it was a really you know, big step for me, and I learned a lot, and then I was able to hit my career after that, moving at a better pace, you know.
Yeah.
I felt a lot more confident and comfortable in my game after that year.
Yeah. So when was it that you were an everyday guy in the lineup? Was it after your redshirt year?
So my redshirt freshman year, which was my first playing year, I came off the bench. I was the backup for Ryan Klein and Carson Edwards that year when we went to the Elite Eight and won a Big Ten title. So I played probably about 10, 15 minutes. I was just kind of
– the game?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, I played from the start, which was really good.
Heck
and then my sophomore year, I started pretty much every game. And then from there, pretty much either started every game or came off the bench and played a lot of minutes. I think I averaged the most minutes my last 2 years on the team, which is good.
That's awesome.
Or at least second,
Heck yeah. So how was your experience at Purdue?
I loved it. Like that. Like I said, like that was where I always wanted to be growing up. Like we're obviously an hour north of here, and my brother went there, and you know, so it was growing up. Like I said, Etuan Moore, Rob Hummel, and like Jawan Johnson, like that era of guys there was like really important for me. Like I saw like guys that were like me and like from this area, whatever, you know, maybe have so much success. And I was like, man, that's the place I want to be.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it ended up working out. So it was my, you know, dream come true.
And I want to touch on kind of, you had mentioned it earlier, but you had written that down like as a goal when you were young.
Yeah.
How old were you when you
I
wrote that
was
down?
I was probably 14.
14.
Yeah.
You wrote down you want to go play basketball at Purdue.
Yeah.
Did you keep that somewhere? Did you put it somewhere in your room?
Yeah, I all over my room I have my goals. So like I have it's somewhere over there, but like I had like, you know, my sophomore year, junior year, senior year kind of like goals like kind of all over the place. So they're somewhere. Yeah.
Who taught you that? Did you do that on your own?
Yeah, it was kind of on my own, but like Dan, my older brother, kind of helped me a lot with that things. Like, hey, you need to write stuff out that you want to do. You know what really helped me too is how Coach Swan always did like end of the year meetings, like those exit meetings after the season ended. Kind of made you think more about like what do you want, what's your goal, what do you want to do in the future, what do you want to do next year, long term, stuff like that. Like, who would you want as your teammate in dire situations in your foxhole, as you know, as you called it, and make like thinking more about those things makes you think about like, hey, what do you actually want? And it really helped me like formulate that goal, and it ended up working out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then go through your Purdue career. At what point did you? Was it like end of your career where you started getting conversations with NBA teams? Or who were you hearing from? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. So probably my last year, my junior year, my redshirt junior year. I had some just people just reach out like European wise. Like I said, we were talking before, like I have dual citizenship over there, so Europe is always an option. But some European teams were kind of reaching out, just kind of gauging interest. I think they kind of thought that I was already done with school then, so they thought I was moving into professional basketball that year, but I still had one more year. So, but this past year, just like meeting with agents and picking through that process, and then moving forward, I think that was, you know, towards the end of the years when I really like started to be like, hey, maybe you could get NBA workouts and then move forward from there. But we had scouts. Like I played with obviously Jaden Ivey, and there was a scout at every single practice, every single game, multiple scouts. So it was like, you know, people are seeing me. You know, if they like me enough, like they've seen me. But you know, if they don't like me, whatever. You know, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about it the other day. Like everything that I've ever wanted to do in my basketball career, I've done.
Yeah.
So like everything moving forward is a bonus.
That's
like
awesome.
this is like
It's all a bonus.
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
So when was the draft?
Late June. Yeah,
Okay.
late June.
And I mean, you got drafted.
No,
right? No?
I'm not. I got signed just summer league with the
Okay, you
the
got
Spurs.
signed summer league. Okay.
Yeah, like undrafted.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now you've got like, how does that work? Is it like a summer league contract? That's it? Just like
Yeah,
signing. You're playing with us summer league.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So right after the draft. So I actually committed to the Spurs before the draft. So I like knew. I basically knew I was probably going to go undrafted. So there's a slim chance that I would get in the second round, but I committed to the Spurs before the draft even started. So it was good to already have a spot.
Nice.
You know, because like sometimes summer leagues, there's limited spots, limited teams, and it's a little hectic. So it ended up working out where I had a spot before summer league even started, and it's a great organization, great coaches and everything. So yeah, summer league, it was just that contract with them.
That's awesome.
And then moving forward, you could get something
I
else.
mean, how was that, man? Like, how was summer league? Like, you were playing with NBA talent.
Yeah, really cool. It was, they had a lot of high draft picks this year. They're kind of like in a rebuild mode, so they had a lot of like younger guys,
San Antonio
did, a lot of younger draft picks, and it was really cool just to be like I said, we were talking before. I had like a training camp there a week and a half there before the summer league started in Vegas, and just being in their facilities, like, Tim Duncan just rolls in, like Ginobili rolls in, it's Brent Barry's like in their front office organization now. So like just seeing guys like that, like every day, I was like, man, like, and like they got the 5 banners up, like, it's really like motivational. Like, you see those guys and like they had so much success, and it's like, man, like how do they do it? Like, so it's cool to like kind of pick their brains. I got to talk to Coach Popovich for a little bit.
And Pop's a Maryville guy.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of talking about. Like
arguably one of the greatest.
Yeah.
Well, him and Phil are the most decorated, or is he he's got the most rings, right? Or just Phil? Phil Jackson.
I think Phil does.
Might have a couple more, but he's got like 8 or 9.
You could argue whatever you want with Pop, man. He's
right here from the region.
Yeah, he's awesome. Like me and him got to talk about it, and it's cool because, like I said, my dad and my mom both went to Maryville.
I was gonna ask, did he know your dad?
No, they didn't.
Because he's older.
Yeah, he's older.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever have like ran into each other.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, he's like, we were just talking about it like that, and he's like, yeah, growing up in East Chicago, I'm like, yeah, it's funny. I'm like, my dad went to the Walls for a year, then Maryville.
Yep.
And he's like, man, like
That's
what a
cool.
small world.
Man.
And we're both from Serbian background, so it's really cool.
How's the talent level in the summer league versus Big Ten? Do you want did it feel pretty comparable because you're playing with a lot of younger guys? Maybe draft picks,
exactly. Like so when you got in when I was playing in practices and the games, like it wasn't a massive jump where I was like, I'm so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It was similar because a lot of those guys I played against, and a lot of those guys I'm familiar with,
right.
Which is good. So
but
it wasn't.
Since it's a summer league, they're probably going all.
Yeah, and a lot of people we're trying to prove.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get a job, which is
Yes.
funny. Like it's a weird concept now that you're a professional basketball player. Like you have to go make money. Like you have to get a job, and so everybody's kind of in the same boat, and it was really cool. It was really cool to just compete like that against high level guys and high level coaching, and it was fun.
So where are you at right now? What are you working on right now?
Yeah, so just like we said, just working out, trying to get in the gym, do everything I can body wise to get myself ready for that next step in professional basketball, world. But moving forward, getting with my agents, figuring out within this next week or so where I'm going next, and go from there.
Yeah. NBA, Europe, still kind of figuring that out.
Kind of both options. So hopefully there's some training camp deals here in the NBA with some teams, and some teams have gauged some interest with my agents and everything, and then my agents over in Europe, I think I'll have some good options over there. So he said probably landing somewhere either Spain or Greece, which would be good. So anywhere that I could go play basketball for money, I'm good with.
So, for a profession.
Exactly.
In Europe, are those the 2 main spots to be? Spain's
a great. Spain is a great league. There's a lot of them. If you land a EuroLeague team, that's the second best league in the world. So those are really high level players. But
awesome.
Domestically, Spain, Italy's good. Germany, there's a lot of great ones.
So right now, what do you got written down? What's written down on those gold cards?
Yeah, moving forward, just my that long-term goal is to play in the NBA. You know, that's the one that you know, moving forward is the one that I've got starred. You know, but I don't know. I haven't written anything down moving forward. I want to see where I could get first, and then go from there and see how I could contribute to a team, whether that's playing a lot, playing a little, scoring a lot, you know, whatever it is. But that one goal right now is just, you know, playing an NBA organization.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't want to downplay like how important it is to write your goals down.
Yeah.
It's like from the time you were 14 years old, you had that in front of you.
Yeah.
You were looking at that. I think so many people have a goal, and in their mind they have that goal, right? But it's so different when you put it in paper and you put it in front of you every day.
Yeah.
Right. So as soon as you said that, I was like, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, like, because that's how it works, man. That's how the world was designed. That's how God made the world. That's how the universe works. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
When you proclaim that and you put it out there and you put it in front of you, you put it down. And that's what you focus on. That was all you focused on. You worked very hard towards that.
Yeah.
And you look at it, man. You know, what, 4 or 5 years later from when you wrote that goal down,
Yeah.
you were there. You're at Purdue, and then next steps. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man. So, what's your advice for, you know, young athletes, young basketball players? You know, simply put, someone who's looking, who has that same dream as you.
Yeah, you know, nobody really talks about it a lot, and it's kind of like been a reoccurring theme within my life is like the idea of patience. And like, especially like my freshman year of college, like I said, like you want everything to happen all at once sometimes. Like you want all the success right away. You want everything to happen. But like both my instances of my high school life, college life, definitely going to be moving forward to professional life. Like you have to just continue to chip away, work every single day. That's something that like I learned from my grandparents. Like I said, like they did blue collar jobs and like never complained about it. Like just showed up to work every single day, did hard manual labor, and just went about their business, you know, and just continued to do it every single day. And like that idea of like work ethic and having patience to realize that maybe it's not going to happen today, maybe it's not going to happen tomorrow, but sometime in the future, like maybe it's going to work out if you just continue to do the work, continue to do everything right, avoid things that are wrong, whatever that may be. Like those are important characteristics within my family that have really like stuck with me. And you know, moving forward, it's huge.
That's awesome, man. Because as soon as you were talking about the process of summer league to workouts to, you know, to Euro, like all of these things, I'm sure when you actually look at it, the amount of guys who end up playing in the NBA, it's not the majority of them. I'm sure it's not like you're drafted and now you're in an organization. It's probably this process that you're going through,
100%.
right? And then eventually you work to get, and you're patient enough to get to that point where you're an everyday guy. Maybe you're 28 at that time. Yeah. Maybe you're 30 at that time. Whatever. You still have a lot of life at that point, man. I mean, so, you know, you take care of your body and you take care of yourself. There's a long career there to be had, and a great career to be had. And maybe it doesn't happen like some guy, like Jaden Ivey's at 20. How old is he? 19.
Yeah.
I mean, that's stupid, right? But it happens for a select few guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But most guys go through what you go through. A few years of the process or what you're going through, like in it. So I was thinking about it, man. I was like, it's got to be a long, patient process.
Yeah, but like I said, like tomorrow I probably won't sign an NBA contract. I probably won't sign an NBA contract this year. But like hopefully if I continue to do what I've been doing, do it well at a high level and do the things that I do well, you know, double down on my strengths, you know, hopefully sometime in the future I could get to that, you know, that goal that I really want to.
And dude, I think you mentioning the patient side of things is so valuable because we live in a world where everything is right here.
Exactly.
So everything is right here. So we don't, and we're so used to it in our age that if you want an answer, you pick up your phone. If you want everything happens like this. And a good friend of mine puts it that we're in a microwave society. It's like, all right, it's just that quick. That's how easy it is. And man, just you know, a lot of my mentors that I talk with and people that I learn from very closely, that's typically the main thing. Because at the end of the day, if you're working towards something with everything that you've got and you're meant to be there, it's only a matter of time. Yeah. Right? It's only a matter of time. So why do people not succeed? It's because they stop doing it. They don't stay consistent and patient on that effort, right? So it's great advice for you to give to young athletes, man, because it's just so damn true. We're so used to everything being like this. Yeah. So I love that you said that.
Yeah,
man. That's amazing. And that's clearly like how you operate. Yeah. You could just see it in every day how you do things, man.
Yeah, definitely. That's like the big like thing that I've been trying to do within my life that like has really helped me be successful, and it's hopefully somebody could take something of that and have the same success.
Well, I appreciate you coming in here.
Yeah,
Man. Yeah, it's an honor having you here, bro. Do you want to touch on your shooting school?
Yeah. I have my our Sasha Stefanovic shooting school next week, July 27th to 28th, 6 to 8, at the Crown Point High School here. Nice. Yeah, so really fun. Like I did it last year for the first time because we could do NIL, rules and everything. We could make some money off of things that we're doing with communities or organizations. So I did it last year. I had about 80-something kids in that one.
That's awesome.
This year we have over 130 kids.
Nice.
So moving forward, probably end up like 140, 150 kids.
You,
so
man.
It's really fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
And do you have a site that people can go and register to?
Honestly, no. Yeah. Our registration kind of ended last week, but if you still wanted to come, you could come. Just walk in on the day of.
Nice.
So yeah, it'll be really fun. We're gonna have a lot of great coaches, a lot of great organizations are sponsoring. So nice. It's gonna be really, really cool.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, if you're still taking sponsors, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man. Love to. Appreciate you hopping on, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Of course.